Hello, hello, hello. Well, week 3, I guess, going into it. First thing first, I decided to do mostly a voiceover and not really record myself as I talk, as I go through either the drawing or I guess showing what I'm working. I feel like this is the best way to actually reduce the time that I usually have on these videos, especially the videos that I started with this year. I'm trying to find the best the best way to be mindful of your time, and obviously not expecting to spend an hour sitting here listening to a guy blabbering on about things. Plus, based on the average viewing time of my last video, for example, 5 minutes versus 40 something minutes is quite a lot. So I will try to make these videos as short as I can, and the only way to do it is do voiceover recordings and speed up through some of the things. I might even end up doing just basically a complete speed through the entire drawing process and not necessarily show these things if I need to reduce the video even more. Right now what I was showing what I'm gonna be using. I'm still going to be using the dip pen that I used last week. I think I'll be using this tool for a while now. To be honest with you, I'm starting to love it. And a few new exciting things. First thing that we saw at the beginning was a brush set from Kuretake. Basically, I got that set the second day after I finished the video from my last week. I was that frustrated with that. And I like these new brushes. They were already filled in with water when I was showing them. I just kept them in that bag because right now I don't have an actual thing for them. I like them. It's just that I find them now maybe too wet. I don't know if I can reduce the water that goes through them, or it's just a matter of me getting used to using them, since I'm kind of used to use the other ones, which, well, were not the best. And the other thing, quite exciting thing that I have, and I showed it at the beginning, is these inkwells, 4-pot inkwells with that wood stand. I like them. Whoever designed these things are actually did a pretty good job. In essence, they're just 4 tiny jars that I guess could be anything in there. But the base that they sit on, it's actually quite nice because it allows you to tilt the bottle, especially making it much easier to actually dip your pen in. The only caveat with that is that you have to be very careful to not fill in the jar all the way to the top, because once you're going to tilt it, well, I'll let you imagine the results of that thing. So I usually fill them in maybe just half, just to be on the safe side, and that's about it. And as ink, I'm not using the ink that I used last week because I love the ink. It works exactly how I was expecting it to work. But the problem with that is that it's a little bit shiny, especially when it dries off. Probably not a good idea, especially if I'm trying to make my drawings a little bit more flat and maybe help the colors stand out rather than the shining of the black ink coming through. So this week I actually tried to use an ink that I've been using for a long time, but I usually use it mostly for writing and sketches, but not necessarily when I'm coming on top with water. So I kind of took a little bit of a risk in here. So the ink is called Eternal ink. It's a documental ink, which I have some question marks on that, and it's coming from Higgins. Or Higgins. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it. I do like the ink. It's actually working very well with the dip pen. I was really in the mood and everything was clicking very nicely. I had no skipping issues, and everything was working quite nice. Maybe too nice because I got lost in the details of the sketch, which, by the way, I'm not sure exactly what I was trying to do. But I kind of like the simplicity that I started with, and then it kind of exploded into its own complicated thing. Actually, the sketching took me 2 hours. Like I got that lost into details. I forgot that I had to come over with water, brush, and color on top of it, which came back and bit me in the butt quite badly. This ink turned out to be, even after letting it dry, turned out to be even worse as waterproofing or even water resistant, I would say, as they advertise on the bottle, than the first thing that I used in my first drawing for this year. I do like the ink, but I think I'm just gonna reserve it from now on just for regular sketches and regular, more like, I guess, silly attempts of me trying to do some calligraphy. Nothing exciting. This is just me playing around. This is my second bottle ink that I had from them. I like the ink. I like the matte finish that I get out of it, and how neutral it is. So it's not getting shiny or overpower things if you look at it from different angles. With my drawing from last week, I liked it. The ink worked as it should have, but the problem was that every time I was turning the page and the light was reflecting in the ink, it's like overpowered the drawing a little bit. So that's what I didn't like about it. So there are a few inks that I wanted to try in that inkwell, that stand for the inkwells that I showed. One was for this ink, which I'll move it out of it. I actually have two stands, one for one bottle and this one for the 4 bottles. So I'll move that in the single stand, which I'll keep it just for writing and regular sketching. And I'll bring the empty one into the 4th and the one with the 4 inkwells, and I'm gonna use a different India ink. But for next week, for example, in the other bottle that I was showing at the beginning, I have a different India ink. Is the Sepia Bombay from Dr. P.H. Martins. Those are waterproof. I used them in the past and I know they're gonna be good. So next week I'll be using the Sepia. And there's another ink that I want to try in the future from Rotring, usually used in their technical pens, I guess. And I know those are waterproof as well. So I have a feeling for the future these two inks are gonna be my main go-tos. And I think I'm gonna, since I have, I guess, 2 more inkwells that will be empty after I fill these 2 with, well, I already have one filled with the Sepia. The other one will be filled with the Rotring ink, and I guess I'll bring 2 more colors, and I think I'm gonna bring them up from Bombay, because usually their inks are actually waterproof. If not, I guess I'll discover. I don't know what colors I'll bring, but we'll see. I'll definitely experiment with a few things. I do have an orange ink from Bombay or Dr. P.H. Martins, but I'm not sure how well it'll be on this paper with other colors, because it's a very bright orange. Almost feel like that color will work better on a tone paper, or maybe grayish, maybe even black. I don't know, something to experiment on. Going into the issue that I had with this, so imagine after 2 hours of doing the details on the sketch, which again, I don't know what it is, but I love the details of it. I end up, without testing, which again, it's bad on my side, I end up just diving into it. And one thing that took me by surprise is, first of all, how more wet these brushes are, which I love it, but again, it's something that that I need to get used to it. So it seems to pick up more color from the nib of the fountain pen, which I like. But as you'll probably see soon, if not, because I'm not sure how the voiceover will match exactly with the video, but that ink, not waterproof, my guys. I wouldn't even recommend it for documental ink as they recommend it to be, because like any drop of water will smudge everything. I mean, you do get like a very faint mark in the background, But honestly, there are fountain pen inks that are more waterproof than this. So I love Eternal Ink, but my opinion on it, or how good it is for actual archiving or documental ink, as they call it, has definitely changed. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but based on my testings, I don't know if I can really recommend it for archival, as an archival ink or something like that. So with that said, it's like the drawing progresses worse and worse and worse. I got to a point where that ink was overpowered everything that I was trying to do. I got so frustrated that I just dumped like the entire ink, not the entire water, from the water brush and just started to do a complete wash over. I was trying to dilute the whole thing as much as possible, and to my surprise, it kind of worked. So it's like he washed away the parts that were really dark. So I still had some details in there in the background, but at the same time, everything got darker. So it was very hard to bring the colors in and brighten it up. Was a little bit too late in the game. I did a lot of drawing, hoping to have the colors kind of lighten up as they dry up, and then again came back with more color. One thing that I did, and it was kind of on purpose, and it fortunately kind of turned okayish, I guess, and it kind of gave me an idea to just lose myself into it and just not care. I used the tissue that I've been using for a couple of months now, if not a year, to clean my fountain pens, and the colors, all those ink colors that are embedded in the tissue, as I put it on top to dry off the page after I did, after I dumped water on the page and just washed everything away, it started to leave some spots, some color spots from the tissue. It bleeded into the page, and I like that. So I kind of carried that over. Towards the end, I used the fountain pens to just do splatters of different color inks and kind of try and bring it together. So in essence, that's why the title of the video for today is named as it is. I've done some progress, so I think I started to get a better hand of how to use that D pen. Like I said, I loved using it on this drawing to the point where I was literally lost in the details. And maybe that was kind of my fault why I put too much details in it. I should have do a little bit of work, then do the wash, then more details on top, another wash, and so on and so forth. So maybe that's something to try in the future. Maybe I'll try the sync again, but mostly to the idea of add a little bit of details, wash everything away, add a little bit more details, wash everything away, then add color and add an actual India ink that doesn't wash out, and then add color on top of it. And do this kind of a layered slowly, so this way I don't get with a darker painting, I guess you can call them painting, that I wanted. I also tried at the end to bring a little bit more ink lines on top of the drawing that I already had, but it wasn't really making things stand out. But I used the occasion to maybe connect some gaps between the color that I added and the washed away ink that was behind that color that I added. In the end, again, not what I wanted to get out of it. That's not what I expected. Most of the time was spent on doing the ink lines, which I loved. And then the other half of the time was spent on trying to save this and kind of make it into something that still kind of ties in. At that moment, when I finished the drawing, I was quite frustrated. I was quite annoyed, and I was also tired, so that didn't help. I tried to do my best to bring everything together, and I left it overnight. And then when I came the next day and looked at it with fresh eyes, I have to admit I kind of like it. It's not that bad. Not what I expected, From that point of view, it is a failure, since since the other part of the video some failures. But it is kind of on theme with the other two drawings that I've been doing this year, so I'm not too far off, I guess, on that theme that I set up for myself. Anyway, that was today's today's drawing. A lot of challenges, things, a lot of new discoveries, a lot of things that I enjoy doing, and I think I'm getting the hang of it. And hopefully the next week's video will be a little bit more successful, because I will be using that sepia ink from Dr. P.H. Martin's, the Bombay Sepia, which it is marketed as an India ink, and I'm expecting better things out of it. Anyway, I've been babbling now for like 15-16 minutes, as I'm getting towards the end of the video. I think I'll stop here. Let me know what your opinions. Like I said, I'll try and make the videos as short as I can. I don't expect people to spend that much time watching these things that I'm making, but at the same time I also want to be conscious about the time those of you who decide to spend on my videos. It's not gonna be the entire day, as they say. Let me know your opinions, let me know your feedback if you reached so far, and thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Wish you nothing but the best, and a wonderful day or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.